Morning, Eileen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see your face again.
Good to see you too.
So
What's
we
going on?
met, I'm going to tell everyone, we met at Genius Network. Was it 2 weeks ago? Was that Genius 2 weeks ago?
I think so. God, it feels like about a month ago.
Right? Right? I know. It was literally two
Crazy.
weeks ago, almost on the date. So I don't really know you except that I just fell in love with your energy.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to sit with you and your book this morning.
I'm so excited to do this. I think this is like one of the coolest things.
I know, it's gonna be so much fun. We have all these beautiful people showing up. So many of them have been on the show, so I'm just sending them so much love. So happy they're here with us. How we do this is we're gonna drop into our bodies because the body is like the wisdom keeper. We're gonna call in our angels. We'll prep our body to receive, and then we're gonna bring your book in. Does that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
All right, I'm so excited. Okay. So if you want to place, let's do this. I'm feeling like what needs to happen first? It feels like palms up on the knees, shoulders up, and then just roll them back. And we're just going to use the visualization of the sun. We're going to use the sun to soften the heart. And then we're going to allow the sun to also create this beautiful protection. So we're just going to create this beautiful protection around you, around me, creating this really safe place so that we can really feel and hear your book. And we're going to place, we're going to just call in the divine light to clean the walls, the ceilings, the floors, and anything within my space and your space, so it will be completely cleaned of any energy that's not serving and that is maybe like messing a little bit with the channel. This happens because this is human life. We always pick up energy everywhere. So we're going to clear it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually activate the vibration in your room and the vibration in my room that'll be at a much higher vibration so we can hear your book better. So just feeling into that, taking a nice deep breath in, all the way down to the lower belly. There we go. We're going to call in all of our angels and our guides and those who are specific to you and your work, the work that you're here to create in the world, this book that you are here to write. We're going to call them all in and through the divine light to come and sit with us, to hold this space in safety and protection, and to help us receive easier. So now we're just going to prep our bodies. So we're going to ask that light will touch our ears so that we can spiritually hear what needs to be heard. The light will touch our third eyes. We'll have access to all of our spiritual gifts. The light will cleanse our lips so we speak only what needs to be spoken. Take a nice deep breath in. Okay, so we're going to call in your book. And I know you've already started writing a book, but I don't want to know what it is because I want to hear whatever your book wants to give us today, okay? So I see better when my eyes are closed, so I'm going to keep my eyes closed. You can keep your eyes closed however it works for you. But I'm going to invite your book, this powerful book, to come in and into the divine light, to come and sit between my heart and your heart. So immediately the imagery that I'm shown is like a typhoon. Like it's coming in like a typhoon, which means like it's coming in to change and wipe out the old and also create new. Does that land for you?
Oh, it's spot on.
Awesome. Okay, so that's how it's coming in. So now we're going to invite it to sit between my heart and your heart, and we're going to just ask that it show us a message of clarity. So that's what it feels like, is that the book is going to come in and clean up any of the, I'm seeing it kind of like a word scramble. So like, I don't know, is that what they're called? Like a word search where there's like all these different letters, but then you can see the words in the word search. Is that what that is? Is that a word search, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it's showing me right now. It's showing me that there's like there's a bunch of different letters. There's just like a bunch of stuff that's not it. So it's going to come in and get really clean, like straight to the point on what it wants to be and what it wants to say. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to invite you to see, hear, feel, know. So anything that you see, hear, feel, or know, I want you to share, okay? Because we're both talking to your book. So let's see.
The word that keeps screaming is truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. What does that mean for you?
The piece is like, we say we're in our truth, but our truth doesn't happen without clearing out the shame and clearing out the fears. So there's like a layer of truth of all the things that we're scared to say out loud. We're all the things that we never share with other people, all the things that we're deeply shameful of, that we pretend didn't exist. So this and this is what I'm feeling, is like this book is about really teaching that it's okay and to be in your deeper truth. And we have to work through the shame, we have to work through the betrayal, we have to work through the attachment stuff, and so that we can show up in the world in our deepest power.
I love that. And when you say that, that's kind of what I'm seeing with this like word search scramble, right? It's like all this like messiness, but then there's like really strong words.
Yeah, and there's a formula. Like, I think when you talk about the words, it's almost like there's an acronym for all this to help people get through this, because we have to create something systemic for people to be able to understand and conceptualize and go through the steps. And so there has to be like, and maybe the acronym is truth, because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it in big bold letters.
Yeah. And I'm also seeing, let's see if we can see this stronger. It's like coming in really faintly, but there's like also, is there like a body practice that you can receive? Like it's like something that no one else has done before, that's just going to come to Ilene. And this is going to come in through your heart, not through your mind. It's going to be something that it can teach somebody really quickly how to shift out, right? So like when shame shows up, they do something. Do you already know what that is?
Yeah, it's like everything in the process of shame is learning how to lean into it and making friends with it, right? We're always so busy running away from it, right? And avoiding it. And so the work is to lean into it and actually allow yourself to be embodied by the shame. Let yourself feel into it, and let yourself feel into it. The big piece is to feel into it when you actually start sharing in the shame, and to be able to sit with that discomfort and then see what it feels like, the relief that we get when we share. Right? There's such a freeing when we share that truth. And when we acknowledge our shame and we allow ourselves to be with it, and to know that we are not our shame. We don't have to be shameful of the thing that we did or a thing that happened to us when we were 9 or 10 years old. Right? So it's about the embodiment of being in the power now. What does that feel like? Right? When you can let go. Right? And you can build your body as that safe container, right? Because what happens is we lose our capacity to feel safe.
Yeah.
And then we circumnavigate around life and do all sorts of things that we're just like, why are we doing this? Right? We don't understand our own behaviors.
I love this, Ilene.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's drop in. It feels like there are definitely like an acronym. There's definitely a physical practice you can come up with where it's like someone can do it at any time, at any place. Maybe you'll see what it is, but there's something about like either they drop their heels or they place their hands together. Like there's something physical that you're going to teach them in this book that helps them be able to like not run, but lean, right?
So, not run, but lean. Yeah.
So it feels like the book is also, I mean, you're teaching them all these principles, but they're going to walk away having life-changing results because you're teaching them in body practices.
Yeah, I'm teaching that. I'm going to teach them embodiment in that, and the embodiment happens in those small practices that we do every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that piece, like, and this to me is really the secret sauce. And maybe I need to formulate this, but it's really about learning how to sit with our discomfort and not distracting ourselves.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, creating a space for the discomfort.
So I'm seeing, so your book is showing me like pages, and it's almost like you have somebody who draws like black lined art. You know what black lined art is? Where it's kind of like, it's just like it's like stick kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really diagrammy. But it almost feels like there are going to be diagrams, or you can always, you know, whatever I say, you just filter if it feels true to you. But there's like diagrams that can be shown on pages so that people are reading, but then they're seeing what you're talking about. So it's like they're learning it in a few different senses, and then it's like really landing in their bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's also showing me something about, so whenever a book shows me a hand and then it's pulling, it's like the book is like, okay. It's like twofold. One, it is obviously a guide. So like the book is a book that's teaching, but it is a guide. It's definitely a guidebook for people on being embodied. But it's also showing me that it is your guide to taking you to where you're most in your power. So your book is like the one holding your hand too.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because this book is about my next evolution as well.
Yeah, 100%. I feel it.
Oh yeah, big time.
And it's interesting, it's taking you, the way I'm seeing it is it's taking you towards the northern lights. Well, I've never seen that. What does that mean to you? Does that mean anything to you?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, is it taking me towards, right? So I think I shared this with you. I lost my husband very suddenly 6 years ago. And maybe it's, and I felt this for a while, that this book is about the bridge that him and I stand on together.
Wow.
Yeah, because so much of, there's so much that happened in my marriage. We were married for 6 years, and now I'm writing the book. He's gone 6 years. And so I'm writing the journey of the journey of the marriage, right? And what all those things in the marriage, and it was a very hard marriage, what all those things prepped me for in this last 6 years, right? And really that we talk about, right, when a tree dies, right, it spreads its seeds for new life. And I've had a rebirth with his death, or just maybe the next evolution of me. And it became very clear to me very quickly after he died that he left this planet when he was supposed to, and he left me exactly where I was supposed to be. Yeah. It's big.
This is big.
Yeah, it's really big.
And it feels like the book is taking you, Northern Lights, like it's not like, they're not like a tree that you touch, right? Mm-hmm. But they're there and you can see them, and it's like there's a pull to move towards it. So just really leaning into, the book is saying, let this be that, like let the writing of the book be the beauty. Let it be, okay, this is the message. The message is, let the book and the writing of the book be the deliciousness. Stop trying to race for it to be finished.
Yeah.
Just really
lean into it. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also I see, like, you bringing up the Northern Lights, right? Like, where, we know this, where there's darkness, there's light, right? Yeah. So I think the piece of the Northern Lights might be some of that too, right? That I'm moving into, this is how I feel. I'm moving into another elevation, like another, like I'm up leveling on somewhere, and I don't really quite understand what's going on, but there's this big burst of growth and just capacity to hold space and be that light for other people at a whole other level.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you said that, isn't it interesting that when it's daylight, I mean, I don't actually know this, so this could be maybe not true, but I don't think you can see the northern lights unless it is dark, right?
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's not true.
Good question.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing is like the conversation of shame doesn't really live in light. It's like in the dark, but you're bringing light to the dark. And when you're in the dark, that's when this really is going to expand light for people instead of just this tucking it away, hiding it into the moldy corners, you know?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's really so true, right? There's so much darkness in that shame. Right? And I believe, like, we just, as humans, we sometimes we just don't think we can find our way out. And that's so not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We all have the capacity to heal, and we all have the capacity to move through those tough experiences that we think will kill us, to get through them and to have to feel that pain.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay, your book has a different message that wants to come through. So let's feel in and hear it. Let's see, what is it saying? Thank you for being here with us in this beautiful, sacred book channeling session. And if you felt the stir in your heart that it is time for you to write your book, then I am so excited to tell you that I am going to give you my sacred creative process that allows authors to channel their books. Just click the link below in the description and you will have immediate access to learning the tools on how you will channel your book. Okay, so it's showing me like a really heavy backpack that's filled with lots of workbooks and school books, and it's showing me that there's a piece that has made it feel like schoolwork. There's a piece that has made it feel like a little bit of a burden. But the book it's showing me like, okay, it's like this. The day that the school says, you don't have to carry your books anymore, everything's online. Now you're like, well, I don't have to carry anything, right? Like your book is showing you like, hey, like this isn't the way anymore. This burden and like schoolwork and kind of grind is not how the book wants to come through. The book's like, I'm already here. Like it's all off of your shoulders. Like swim with me. Like it's asking you to swim with it.
Yeah. Well, and so as you say that, what comes up is that I have to lean into the message rather than trying to figure out the message. Let it come. Let the message just unfold because it's there. I don't need to push a boulder uphill to get the message. If I could just relax into it, the message is right there.
Yeah. Yes, and it's showing me an image of someone sitting on the sand looking at the ocean and trying to be like, okay, I feel like this is what water would be like. I feel like this is what, and the book's like, but if you just get in the water,
yeah,
you just know, right? So that's why it's saying swim with me, because it's just asking you to swim in it. And the second you're in it, it's going to be like birth, right? I mean, birth, I've had 5 babies. That last little bit, if I can relax, that's when the baby can come through, right? It's when the tension, the contraction. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing. We are birthing books. It's actually the exact same experience as child labor. It's like painful, beautiful, and when we relax into it, it comes through so much easier.
And it's interesting that you're sharing this with me, because that's kind of where I'm transitioning right now. Like, okay, like to let my system be like, okay, you got this. We don't have to know exactly what this is at this moment, and don't try to figure it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just has you, and it's guiding you. So here's like the practical way of doing this is that I have like a channeling system. Now it's not like the right way to channel, but it's like at least will give you some ideas, you know? So I'll send that to you. And then if you want to drop in and prep your body and then ask your book to come and sit with you, just like we just did. And then you're going to ask like, what needs to be written today? And never in chapter 1, chapter 2, like all the ways that the world tells you to write a book, like that's not how this book comes through. That's not how books come through that are going to change the world. They come through in their own flavor, in their own order. So if you were to just sit down and say, all right, book, like what needs to come through today, and then write it, and then you're done that day because it like comes through and it completes. And then you just keep doing that. What happens is the book will guide you, and you're just the body bringing through the words.
Yeah, so just let the messaging just keep showing up, whatever that messaging is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one other tool. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about not resisting. Yeah.
And there's this, I call it the open bowl, where I just imagine I have this beautiful white bowl on my heart, and I just ask God or the divine, whoever you work with, all right, I'm open all day. Whatever you want to drop in that needs to come through with my book, just drop it in. And anytime, and you'll know it, right? Like you'll know it. Like it's like head to toe, tingles. You'll probably end up, some tears might come out. Like truth gets spoken into our bodies. That's when you throw it into your notes app really quick, right? It comes in, you put it down. It doesn't always have to be like, and now I am writing my book, right? Like when we're an open vessel, like let it drop in all day. That's how we write books fast, because then it's like we're multitasking, you know, we're like doing work, and then the most brilliant piece is going to show up. Bring it down into your notes app so that it comes to earth, and then go back to what you were doing.
I love that. Yeah. And I it's like, it's just a different process, right? Than trying to structure it and make it all fit together. Because what you're saying, what I hear you saying is that it will come together if I just keep letting the downloads come.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a very, like it's not 2D. Like 2D is the old way, right? Like paper, words, that's the old way. But when we receive books like this, it becomes like 5D. Like people feel it in their cells, they feel it in their bodies, they feel it in their souls. And now that book becomes a transformation for people.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, because that's really, you know, when I go into my vision of this, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Is transformation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, but at a deeper level, you know, to really, that's why I go back to the word truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's in the truth?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if there's a last message that can at least, I feel like what I'm wanting is to get the earth below you moving. Kind of like it's like a wave. Like let's get the momentum underneath your feet moving. So how to do that is always in service. So I want you to feel in your heart, who needs this book?
So it's anyone who doesn't feel like they're living their life fully. Who feel that anyone that feels like that nagging, and things might be, maybe they're at 85%, maybe they're at 30% of their capacity, but wherever they are, this piece will propel them to the next level.
Yeah.
So it could be somebody that's just starting out on their journey and maybe wants an acceleration.
Yeah.
Or somebody who's deep in their journey and it's like, what am I missing? Right? This is like, in my opinion, it's like it's the missing link between embodiment and that deeper shame. Right? because that's the piece, right? Everything needs, we have to create embodiment around whatever it is that we're experiencing, right? We can't detach from it, right? That's how we survive. This is not about surviving it anymore. This is about embracing it and thriving in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like, can we celebrate our shame?
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
It made us who we are today. Maybe that shame is the thing that helped you create success in many areas of your life. Maybe your pain is what allowed you to be kinder to others. Maybe that pain is what allowed you not to be judgmental of others, right? So it's all that work that maybe you've done or not done to help you bring yourself to another level and celebrate whatever it is that has been holding us back.
Yes.
Right? We don't celebrate it. We're like, oh, it's
yeah.
Like, leave it over there. I'm like, no, lean into it. Let's own it. Let's own the shitty parts of what we feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're going to sit in it. It means we're going to embrace it, and we're going to work with it, right? If we work with it, if we can name it, we can start working with it. If we don't name it, we have no chance.
Yeah. We have no agency. When we don't name it, it rules us.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's to circumnavigate around all of it with that thing sort of scratching at us.
Yeah. Okay. So this, you can feel there's some fire that just woke up, right?
Yeah.
So this fire is the service. There's a deeper piece that I want to find real quick. And that is, we see what's possible for them, but I want to see where they are right now. Because when we really get the hell that they're in, this book becomes a non-negotiable. Like when we really get where they're at and what's possible when they read your book, like it's just a non-negotiable. It's just like there's no other way. This book has to come through, right? Yeah. So if you were to drop in your heart, and I want you to just ask the divine to show you where people are right now, those who are covered in shame, those who keep trying to claw their way out, but it keeps pulling them back in, those who want to go and make a difference, but they can't because their shame keeps being the brakes every time they get gas. Tell me, what do you see right now?
I see, it's so funny. I see, like the first image that came into my mind is what's actually funny is myself driving down the highway in a convertible with my hair blowing and feeling that sense of freedom, that like that expansiveness, right? Like you could just keep going. Yeah.
That's what they are desiring.
That's what we all want. And that's embodiment, right? That piece, we can all drop into that image of what that would feel like, right? That's an easy place to drop into, where you feel the wind and the elements and your hair is blowing and you're just, you're free. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to get my people to.
That's
every day, to feel that sense of freedom in your life.
Okay. So do you feel this book more in your body than it's been? Can you feel it?
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like heart all the way down to the toes. Like it's just moving like this. Right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to call in your angels and ask them to open up the space and time in your life to be able to sit with the book, so that the book can speak to you, guide you, lead you into your light and into your deepest power. And really, like, it's so beautiful. I'm seeing it. It's like taking you over this like crack in the earth, and you are landing on new land.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. No, big. It's big. It's big. I know this is a game changer.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. All right, my dear, let's wrap the book up. We're going to wrap the book up in the Northern Lights. There's something about the Northern Lights. So maybe do some research on Northern Lights today, because there's a message in this for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hand the book over to the divine with your angels, and then we're just going to wrap you in this golden nectar. It's like this really healing for the nervous system, for the body, just wrapping you all the way from the crown to the toes. Taking a nice breath in and breathing out. All right, Ilene, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your magic, your light.
Thank you. This was amazing.
If you loved this video, then I invite you to come over with me right here and watch a few more of my book channeling sessions. Join me as I sit with authors and we channel through books that are here to transform humanity. I think you're going to love them.